One Piece Manga Chapter 1113, titled Stalemate. The cover page of the chapter is an adapted cover request by a man who likes Yamato. This is a beautifully drawn color spread of Nico Robin playing chess, using the rest of the Straw Hat crew as the pieces. We have Chopper as the pawns, trying to look fierce, but let's face it, he looks nothing but cute. We have Zoro and Sanji as the knights, Jinbei and Frankie as the rooks, Brook and Usopp as the bishop. I must say, it's really fitting for Usopp to be the bishop. For those of you who do not play chess, bishop is often known as a sniper. The reason for that is due to its ability to move long diagonal spaces and often comes out of nowhere to snipe down an opposing piece. So this is really clever from Oda. And lastly, we have Nami as the queen and Luffy as the king. The chapter begins where we left off in chapter 1112. An overview of Punk Records is shown and the broadcast continues to play. On the screen, Vegapunk says that while his coffee could use more time to cool down, they have given people all around the world enough time to set up their transponder snails. Shaka tells Vegapunk Stella that there are 30 seconds left. Pythagoras is getting nervous as they are about to broadcast the truth to the entire world. St. Mars approaches the High Shin Den Den Mushi, but his attention shifted as he looked above. St. Mars is a giant tank with Dr. Vegapunk's massive head in it. In chapter 1067, Vegapunk told Bonnie that at the rate he was getting information and doing his research, he was going to be as tall as a giant. So, he decided to cut his head and store his brain at the top of Egghead Island, which is now known as Punk Records. I must admit that I'm surprised that he literally meant that when he said he cut it off. Vegapunk was not joking at all. Even his hair is still attached. St. Mars tries to process what he is seeing. Even after Vegapunk's death, his brain continues to function. St. Mars then questions if this is actually Vegapunk's true self. He continues questioning as he wonders what death is, if Vegapunk can do something like this, and whether Vegapunk's consciousness is even residing here. So many questions, but no answers. As St. Mars finally processes what he had seen, he walks to the High Shin Den Den Mushi. Vegapunk says that the footage will eventually reach the entire world. He adds that he takes pride in that connection. However, sharing this secret with the world about the truth is also a great burden to him. The scene shifts to different parts of the One Piece world, where we see different people waiting for Vegapunk's message. In Syrup Village, where Usopp lived, some citizens were outside Kaya's mansion knocking on the door. Mary attended to them and told them that Kaya does not have a transponder snail. They were shocked. They thought Kaya would be the only one in the village that would have one due to the wealth that Kaya has. Mary asks if they realize just how big video transponder snails are. Mary tells them that they are bigger than the average house pet and politely closes the door on them. Kaya is talking to the former Usopp pirates. As she is studying to become a doctor, Kaya tells Paimon that Dr. Vegapunk is a legend in the medical field. Much like Usopp, Paimon lies and says he knows all about it. Clearly he's trying to impress Kaya. Ninjin calls him a liar and laughs, while Tamanigi tells them both to take Vegapunk's research more seriously. It's been a while since we last saw Kaya, so it's good to see her being healthy and well now. The scene quickly shifts to the Marines' intelligence unit. One of the Marines is transcribing the broadcast while the rest are preparing for further orders. The scene then quickly shifts again, this time to Twin Cape. At the lighthouse, Crocus is listening to Vegapunk's message with Laboon. Now, this is just my mini-theory, but Crocus probably knows the truth already and he's just listening to pass the time since he's retired. For those of you who may have forgotten, Crocus was the doctor of Gold D. Rogers' crew for 3 years. Silvers Rayleigh said that he was the best doctor in the world at the time and was the only one who was able to relieve Rogers' disease. So, it's likely that he knows what the truth is. The scene shifts to the futuristic island of Baltimore, where Vegapunk was born. Everyone's tuned to the broadcast. Kitan's grandfather says that Vegapunk is Baltimore's pride and joy. Another wonders if he was responsible for the nightmare of Baltimore. After all, it was Vegapunk's laboratory that blew up in Baltimore. Kitan's grandfather told him that it wasn't Vegapunk, it was Frankie that blew up the laboratory. Kitan's grandfather then said that he heard Frankie has turned himself into a ship. This is funny. Kitan's grandfather then reminisces for a moment and wonders how many years it has been. The scene shifts to Birdie Kingdom, also known as Torino Kingdom, in the South Blue where Chopper studied. One of the natives says that the broadcast is about the island where Chopper is. Another native comments that Vegapunk is a king of modern science. However, his intelligence has also been used to make many weapons. The scene shifts to Hachinosu, the pirate island of the New World. While people are eagerly awaiting for Vegapunk's message, a fight is about to break out between two pirates. One of the pirates nearby tells them to quiet down as the Vega fellow is about to speak. However, both the pirates do not care. The pirate with the gun had crossed him earlier, and he isn't going to let that slide just to listen to some old fossil. The scene shifts to another island, where people are anticipating Vegapunk's message. Meanwhile, at the coast of Egghead Island, the Marines are shocked that the message is about to begin. The scene shifts back to Punk Records as Vegapunk's message is about to begin. St. Mars steps on the Haishin Din Din Mushi. The shell breaks, and St. Mars discovers that it's a fake. It's just a normal Din Din Mushi, as the time is up, and Vegapunk says, "This is Vegapunk. Attention world." St. Mars begins to panic as he realizes that Vegapunk had fooled him with a decoy. St. Mars is pissed and curses Vegapunk, and he transforms into an Itsumade and flies out of Punk Records. Vegapunk introduces himself again, and Shaka tells Vegapunk that they had already done the introduction when the broadcast started. Man, this may be the smartest man in the world, but he clearly doesn't have any sense of urgency when it comes to telling the truth about the world. As Vegapunk finally starts his message, people on some island begin to cheer in excitement as they do not know what's coming next. The scene shifts to St. Mars. He is flying with great speed, trying to find out where the broadcast is playing from. One of the Gorosei tells St. Mars through telepathy that the broadcast hasn't stopped yet, and asks what he has been doing. St. Mars apologizes, and he cusses out Vegapunk again. St. Mars tells the rest of the Gorosei that Vegapunk was a lot more cautious than they gave him credit for. And at this moment, there is currently no way of stopping the broadcast. As the Buster Call on Egghead Island continues, St. Mars shares something grim to the rest of the Gorosei. St. Mars tells them that it is impossible to determine how much Vegapunk actually knows or what he intends to say to the rest of the world. St. Mars further adds that the only thing that is certain, as mentioned by York, is that Vegapunk wishes to carry the torch of the Oharan scholars. St. Mars shocks the rest of the Gorosei as he tells them that this will not be a repeat of Clover. Vegapunk intends to finish what Ohara had started. Just as St. Mars says that, a short flashback is shown of Clover getting shot just before the activation of the Buster Call. This enrages the Gorosei as they yell his name in anger. The scene shifts to the northeast of Egghead Island. Sanji is running and carrying Vegapunk's body as he hears a sweet girl cry out. He yells that Bonnie-chan needs him and runs even quicker. As he approaches the coast of Egghead Island, he sees Nazjuro and wonders what that being could possibly be. As Nazjuro prepares his attack, he tells Bonnie that the world government will not surrender their military might to her. Frankie tells Bonnie to get back, and he prepares to tank the attack from Nazjuro. Sanji yells at Frankie and tells him to get out of the way. Frankie is startled as Sanji tells him that if anyone is going to pull off an impressive rescue of Bonnie, it is him. In an instant, Sanji fully counters Nazjuro's armament-coated sword attack and kicks him in the face. Blood spatters out of Nazjuro's mouth. Sanji then yells at Nazjuro and says that they are not going to cut him some slack just because he's old and senile. He tells Nazjuro that this is a pirate's fight. In the next moment, Nazjuro transforms into his hybrid form and bites Sanji on the leg and snaps his bone. Sanji screams in pain as he lets go of Vegapunk's body. This scene is fire. As Nazjuro transforms, he spawns his horse head from his shoulder as his human head burns. Bonnie cries out to Sanji while Kashi from a short distance wonders what that being is. Kashi grabs Nazjuro on the side and tells Oimo to hold him down on the other side. Oimo affirms the instructions as he grabs Nazjuro on the other side. Atlas jumps forward to catch Vegapunk Stella before he could land on the ground. Meanwhile, Bonnie uses her ability Distorted Future. As she begins to transform, the Marines from the distance are shocked and wonder if that is actually Bonnie as she is getting bigger. We saw in chapter 1107 where Bonnie asked Luffy to show her how to throw a proper punch. Luffy turned into a giant and he stopped Saturn and Kizaru. And now, Bonnie is copying Luffy. She is now a giant. In her giant future form, Bonnie then stomps on Nazjuro. I must say, Luffy's imagination brings out and strengthens Bonnie. If Bonnie ever joins the Straw Hats, they will become a crazy duo. Meanwhile, Vegapunk's message continues to be played throughout the world. Vegapunk says that he has a confession to make. Vegapunk starts off by confessing that he has committed 2 grave sins. Because of that, he believes that he will soon be executed for his transgressions. He then tells the world that the message will be programmed to broadcast the moment his heart stops beating. Everyone around the world listening to the broadcast is stunned as they begin to realize that Vegapunk is dead. The scene shifts to the reactions of people all over the world. In Sabaody Archipelago, citizens cannot believe that Vegapunk is dead. The scene shifts to Duval's reaction to the message. He is confused. Duval says that he saw Vegapunk all over the papers this morning, and that he was held hostage by the Straw Hat Pirates. The scene then shifts to the Germa Kingdom. Caesar is unable to accept the news and thinks that Vegapunk is lying. Judge and him had just teamed up to form Neo-Mad so that they could surpass Vegapunk, and now he's dead? Caesar isn't in tears here because he said that Vegapunk has died. He is in tears because now he has lost the chance to one-up Vegapunk. The scene shifts to Morgans reacting to the news. He is shocked and wonders what's the big idea with the massive broadcast. He then wonders if Vegapunk is trying to kill print media. This is actually quite funny. It looks like Morgans is threatened as his media company might die off with the new Din Din Mushi created by Vegapunk. The scene shifts as Vegapunk's message continues. Vegapunk tells the world that he wants to make one thing clear and prays that everyone will understand this. Vegapunk wants everyone to not assume that the ones who strike him down are evil, regardless of who they seem to be. Vegapunk adds that he does not intend to discuss right and wrong here. He further states that he is not qualified to judge such things and that he does not know nearly enough about him in any case. Meanwhile, at the Labo phase, Saturn arrives at the top where Nami's group is. Usopp is in front of the group as he readies his slingshot. Saturn tells him to step aside. Given all that is happening right now, Saturn does not have the time to deal with a vermin like Usopp. Robin hears Saturn's voice and a brief flashback is shown. Robin was hiding at a distance as she was listening to the conversation that Dr. Clover had with the Gorosei. As Dr. Clover was explaining about the poneglyphs and the ancient kingdom, one of the Gorosei told Dr. Clover that the hypothesis was bold. Back to the present, and Nico Robin realizes that it's the same voice as she remembered then. Saturn looks at Robin. She is the woman that Akinu let slip through his fingers and says that Akinu is incompetent. Robin is frozen in fear as she finds out that Saturn is one of the Gorosei. Nami asks Saturn what he is talking about, but the next moment, one of Saturn's spider legs reaches for Robin. Nami yells for everyone to protect Robin. Immediately, Nami pulls Robin away while she uses Zeus to block Saturn's attack. Brook cuts off one of Saturn's legs while Usopp fires an explosive bullet. Chopper uses guard point to prevent some of Saturn's legs from attacking Robin. Saturn is angry as he yells for them to move once again. Nami says that they will keep Robin safe no matter what. My goodness, when Luffy told Kizaru that we are 100 times stronger than before, he was telling the truth. This scene shows that even the weakest in the crew are now capable of fighting and defending against formidable enemies. Usopp would have been hiding somewhere else, but he's literally on the front line at the start. Maybe it's the fact that his masters are on Egghead Island too that he has mustered more courage than usual. This panel alone shuts the mouth of those who say that it's Luffy Piece and not One Piece. The scene shifts to St. Mars, who is still frantically trying to look for the source of the broadcast. St. Mars tells the rest of the Gorosei that his efforts are going in vain. He tells them that there are far too many life forms in the vicinity of the laboratory, and that he is unable to sense any unique telepathic waves due to that. The scene briefly shifts to York, who is still trying to figure out where Vegapunk's Stella had hidden the actual Haishin Din Din Mushi. She knows that at the rate this is going, the Gorosei will not allow her to be a celestial dragon. The scene shifts back to St. Mars as he continues his communication with the rest of the Gorosei. St. Mars asks if they should consider destroying the power plant to stop this broadcast. St. Saturn tells him that is out of the question. He says that the nearby marines, ships, and equipment aren't the only things they will lose in the blast. St. Warcury adds that destroying the power plant would mean sacrificing the only means of replicating their success with the Mother Flame. As the Gorosei continue to communicate with each other, Vegapunk's message continues to shock the world. Vegapunk says that what he is about to say will be hard to accept. He is aware that there will be some people who might think of him as a madman or an idiot. Vegapunk then says that despite that, it is still his responsibility to ensure that everyone has the right to know. Vegapunk then cuts to the chase and shares the truth about the world. Our world is going to sink into the ocean. The Marines are shocked as they hear the message, and the sky gets darker. The scene shifts to the seafloor, where some mermaids are swimming with fishes and whales. And the chapter ends. Holy crap! What a chapter! Is this why Crocus built a house inside Laboon? And could it be why Silver's Rayleigh got into the ship coating business? Also, did you notice the clouds above Egghead Island? Could it be that the Mother Flame is targeting Egghead Island? So much to talk about and discuss, so let's continue this in the comment section down below. Press like if you enjoyed the video, and if you don't want to miss out on future One Piece chapters like this one, definitely subscribe and hit that bell icon. There will be a break next week due to Golden Week in Japan, so there won't be any chapter release next week. See you in the next video.